Thanks for joining me for Another Cup. The four main personality styles and how to work within them. So, talking about personality styles, and by the way, I want to dig into this a little bit more. If you have not listened to the original message, which highlighted the music of Alien Ant Farm, please go and do so. This is to go a little deeper on the concepts presented there. What I find interesting about these personality styles and the concept is it almost feels artificial to walk around or work and constantly think of these things. I remember having a little bit of a brush with NLP in the early 90s, neuro-linguistic programming, if you're familiar with that. Richard Grinder and I think it was David Bandler developed the concept of mirroring and using body language and vocal cues to connect with people and even to influence them. Now, some of those concepts psychologically are very, very sound. We may know when we are attracted to someone or we just seem to get along with someone very easily that there's probably some subliminal, subconscious thing going on where we happen to process things the same way or even speak the same way or just move the same way. But the truth is, it feels very artificial to have to think, okay, I am a supporting personality type and I'm dealing with an analytical type, and so I need to think like they do. That's a lot of thought for something that should come natural. So the approach that I think we should take here, and that I've taken many times, is to use a curious mind. So knowing myself, and can you ever know yourself enough? Can you ever have enough self-awareness? I don't think so. I think I'm always learning new things about the way that I tick, the things that make me who I am, and that's good to know. I think that's something we should invest some time in. But when it comes to connecting with people who are not like us, I think it just means having a curious mind, having an open mind. Why is it that there are some people I just don't get along with or I don't communicate with if it's not something very obvious? Like if somebody has complete opposite beliefs to me and they speak in a completely different way, and for example, the language barrier, if I don't know how to speak a certain language and they're speaking that language, we're not going to communicate very well. Doesn't mean I can't be curious what they're trying to say, how they're trying to say it. So instead of looking at these personality types as something you need to know, what I think it should serve is a jumping off point for simply being curious. I'm curious whether this person that I'm talking with or I'm communicating with or working with, I'm curious what their style is. Can I figure that out as I talk with them? Especially those that are on the opposite side of the scale. For example, if you are our promoting personality type and you're talking with a controlling type that wants to get to the point and take care of things and is very maybe detail oriented, while you're more into the relationship and having fun and the intangibles. So it's interesting to use this. Okay, I recognize that there are four personality types. I know what mine is, and I'm curious what the other people around me are. It may even be fun to sit down with someone who you know has a style different from yours and say, have you ever thought about what your personality type is and how you operate? And how can we work together? How can you teach me about your style and I'll teach you about mine just a little bit? I think that's a great place for us to, rather than taking whatever's going on and just let it happen how it happens, but to understand it better. And maybe we can't forge these relationships easily, but at least we know why. At least we know how we work within everything else that's going on, whether it's work whether it's personal relationships, friendships, you name it, strangers you meet on the street. I mean, it's a fascinating area of study. But first you have to start with yourself. So and there are plenty of personality tests out there. In fact, I recently talked with someone who still worked within the Myers-Briggs test, the 4 letters that determine a personality style. And in talking, I recalled what I was, and we realized that we had some common ground in some areas. In some other areas, we were completely opposite. And just starting there made for some really wonderful, stimulating, engaging conversation. And we connected. Even though, on the surface, had we not kind of started there, we would have seen that in some of the main areas, we were very, very different. But we started with curiosity and commonality. And maybe that's what the real message today is. Find what you have in common with the people that are different from you, and be curious about the differences. And personality styles is a great way to start because it's very simple. 4 personality styles, relatively easy to diagnose what someone is or to talk with them about how they operate. And then to forge some good engagement based on the commonality and the differences. It's been a pleasure to talk with you more and to have another cup about the 4 personality styles and how to work within them.